We got a new patch for WWE 2K24 plus. I've got exclusive details of the upcoming DLC that I want to talk about. First, let's get through the patch notes together. Patch 1.16 is now live and it's focusing primarily on online stability. If you guys know, there was an online fix that was going on for 2K like across all of their games over the last couple of days. It's now updated and WWE 2K was also on that list. So with the patch itself, you're going to see the following fixes. Online match stability updates related to interacting with physics, objects, and matches with entrances enabled, such as objects on the announcer table, matches with blood option enabled, Irish whips from the ring corner, and my faction matches in quick and ranked play, plus additional game stability improvements. Now with the online stability fixes in the patch for that, I really hope that as this patch rolls out, that players are seeing that the online system is working a lot smoother. There's a lot of problems when it comes to online. It doesn't seem to be a huge priority by any means. I really do hope that this stuff does fix it for fans because they've been waiting a long time to get more than just general stability improvements when it comes to the online system. Community creations often crashes, but playing online games, period, it never seems to work. The few times that I play online, it just boots out like halfway through a match or it glitches. Trying to have a consistent match with anybody it's a little hard to pull off. So this is what I thought was gonna happen, was we would get a smaller patch and then probably around the time of the DLC, unfortunately, they'll do another one. We're at the end of August, and if we were getting a DLC now, it would usually be one of the big fixes. But you never know, they could come out with another large patch in the beginning or middle of September. I can't believe it's September already. Oh my. Now they mentioned my faction. There is a live event that has happened where we're going to be able to get Seth Rollins' shield, but there's a few details we need to know about that. But before we do, I want to talk about today's sponsor. I've struggled with my own mental health for years. As a husband and a dad of 2 young kids, my anxiety often gets triggered and it can be difficult to manage sometimes. For years, I found it difficult to even be willing to reach out to someone professionally to help me cope with not only my anxiety, but my battles with depression. For me, leaning on others is often the biggest hurdle. And then it's funny how months and then years can go by so quickly without ever addressing the real issues. And my anxiety is not something that goes away for months. It's something that reoccurs and that I have to manage on a daily basis. Seeing a licensed therapist helped me a lot to learn strategies and to just get things off my chest. Learning how to manage my anxiety and ultimately be a stronger person for my family. If you're interested in trying therapy, the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp, is a great place to start. They connect you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. First, you go to their website. You can use my link, betterhelp.com/assemble. You will answer a few questions and BetterHelp will match you with a professional who has years of experience helping others with struggles just like yours. You'll be matched with a therapist usually within 48 hours so you can get started fast. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/assemble or assemble during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. So that live event is happening now where you're finally going to be able to get your hands on the Shield version of Seth Rollins. This event does not seem to be too difficult. There's a lot of people out there that have been able to successfully get through this event. Shout out to my friend Rival because he does a fantastic job covering all things my faction. And I believe he noted that if like you just do the match that you got to do and you just like stay outside of the ring, you can beat it pretty easily. For Seth Rollins and the Shield version, what you need to note here is that the Shield version of Seth is completely locked, like the other Persona cards. So if you're like, hey, I want to be able to apply the Shield theme song to somebody else, you cannot. The Titantrons, you cannot. Unless some people have been able to find some workarounds online, it's not possible. The event itself is going to be the Roman and the Architect. So Roman is a superstar of the month. Take down Seth to earn him in another form. You require the Roman Reigns card to be able to do this event. So if you don't have the Roman card, you could buy it in the shop, then do the event, win it, and then you're going to be able to unlock Seth Rollins. This is part of the problem with the My Faction Persona cards. It's going to lock everything and we're not going to be able to access it any other way. Now 2K's recent Persona cards like Prototype John Cena and The Undertaker, for example, Boneyard Undertaker, they have an issue with the Persona cards downloading. So like they're only being stuck in My Faction. That has since been fixed. So now if you get Prototype John Cena, he will be playable and throughout the rest of the game. There are more My Faction leaks that have come out too, according to Witty the G over on Twitter. We talked about his big list of My Faction Persona cards and Persona models that are scheduled to come out, but he did add even more. So he found the following: Juan Cena, Undertaker, and in brackets HBK. That could be version of Undertaker, his look for like his WrestleMania matches against Shawn Michaels. I'm not too sure. You got Elite Ultimate Warrior. So if you got the Elite figure, they got a couple of Elite figures apparently that are going to be coming this year. Elite Ultimate Warrior would be kind of cool. They have Shawn Michaels and in brackets Hogan. This could be their match that they had together one-on-one. Maybe it's Shawn's attire for that. And you also want to shout out iWorld's Finest for finding these in the files. Now we got exclusive details when it comes to 2K24 as well. And guess what? It's not my faction related. So I was able to talk to Brian Williams from 2K, and he was nice enough to share some of the things that we could be excited about when it comes to the upcoming DLC packs. We know because this has been documented, but one of the things was Carlito, when he is releasing the DLC, he will have his apple to be a functional, usable weapon in the game. He can bite into it, he can spit it at the opponent's face. For Dragon Lee, players are actually going to be able to lower Dragon Lee's knee pad before they deliver his knee strike, which is pretty cool because that would probably mean that we could finally do lowering the knee pad for other superstars. It'll just be one of the moves that is in the game. With Mr. Perfect, who's coming out in the WCW pack at the end of the year, Mr. Perfect will be able to lower his singlet, and they've actually added in unique bumping mechanics specifically for Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. He's an absolute legend, and his selling ability is just next level. So Brian talked to me about how they have incorporated that into the game for Mr. Perfect. So you're gonna see some unique bumps from Perfect, but he is gonna take different moves. I asked about the bumping mechanics and all of that for Mr. Perfect. It's not gonna be some wild, crazy thing that's like gonna change the whole game, but it's gonna be a cool thing that they're adding in. So Brian did say that Mr. Perfect has 3 unique bumps that he can do, and 2 of them aren't that easy to replicate because they're tied to specific attacks. But he said that one that is really easy to reproduce is going to be a hammer throw into the corner. Brian went on to say that for extra stuff, extra bits that are going to be available in the DLC packs, we're going to see a lot of the standard stuff that we're used to in terms of all of the additional moves that would come with the DLC packs, entrances, etc. The 4th pack giving us 7 DLC superstars instead of the normal 5. And he went on to say again, a ton of new moves. So I want to thank Brian for sharing this information because it's exciting to be able to get additional stuff like this. This is the cool stuff that players want when it comes to the DLC, and they want to see even more. And I know we have a laundry list of fixes that we all want as well when it comes to universe mode, the creation suite. If the online stability has fixed some stuff, that's great, but we want even more obviously for players. But these are going to be great additions, and I love the homage to Mr. Perfect. The Global Superstars pack comes out September 18th. The WCW pack comes out November 13th. We didn't get confirmation if there's going to be a Fall Brawl War Games coming with that. That has apparently leaked. We just don't know for sure if that's going to come into this year's game. And as well, a ton of Persona cards are scheduled to come out for the rest of the year. The other piece of news that came out last week was that WWE Games and AFC Bournemouth have a new partnership deal together. So what could this be? Probably in the form of some attires that they would have as My Faction downloads, unlockables, things of that nature. If you guys remember the FaZe partnership that they did with FaZe and WWE Games. So with FaZe Clan, WWE 2K24, they offered through the updates some hats, t-shirts, and things like that. I would suspect that WWE Games and the AFC group are probably going to do something like that once again, or they'll tie it into My Faction. Now, there's a lot going on in the world of WWE right now, everybody, and if you guys can help me out and check out our second channel right here, Assemble Wrestling, going through video essays, going through Bash in Berlin predictions, and so much more. Help me out. It'd be great if we could see you over there too. Have a great day. See ya.